This is a mix-up and a mash-up of totally awesome general stuff. First up is a bait fishing tip from Tommo, the skipper of the Lorna Doone out of Watch It. And you know,
Okay guys, one of my favourite baits out here is bluey, and used in combination with squid as well. Now you can buy bluey in two sizes. You've got the smaller bluey here, or the larger one. Okay. Now I actually really like the small ones, and I'm going to show you a very easy and effective way to bait it up using a bit of squid as well, to fish in our fast-paced tides here, and it's going to let loads of scent out. It's going to be nice and streamlined. You're not going to need any elastic or anything like that, and this is one of my fish kebabs. Okay, so I'm just going to take a pair of scissors. What I'm going to do is cut up the bluey into some small cubes. Okay, so I've got some quite small cubes there, and I'm going to take a squid, and I'm going to cut a couple of cubes off the squid as well, just matching the same sort of size. So I'm going to pair of scissors, easiest way to do it. 1, 2, 3, and then all I'm going to do, take my hook, and this is where we see it, as I say, dub it my fish kebab. So you're just going to start to thread. I alternate between bluey and squid. I'm sure it makes no difference whatsoever, but hey, why not? You can see all the blood and juices coming out of the bluey. It's such a good bait to use for that reason. Okay, one more bit of squid. And that is my fish kebab. Yeah, and again, typically I use it on a 6.0 hook. All manner of fish like this. Blonde rays love this, but as I say, it will catch everything going. I've used it a little bit today so far. I've had a couple of rays on it. I've had a couple of smooth hounds on it. It's a really, as I say, it's a really easy way of baiting up, but it's an incredibly effective way. It's going to let a lot of those juices out. They're going to attract the fish, particularly in our coloured water. It's going to remain streamlined, and it just works really, really well. Well, there we go, double hit, 2 different rods, both on the fish kebab, a little conger eel and a thornback ray.
and who doesn't like the occasional kebab? Now it's into the TA garden to see something quite unusual seems to be going on. Pretty much everything is out in the garden now. A couple of pointers I want to tell you guys about. So, mowing the lawn. Here is the conker tree. There are some conkers, but I'm noticing on the grass here, what is this all about? Really, really tiny conkers being dropped. Is that caused through stress, drought? I don't know, because I previously did have a bough here. You can see, I figured this one's going to go. Hopefully not, because it's holding the tree up. But look on the back here, what's this mould stuff that's growing up there? See it? You can even see in here, it's sort of weeping in there, the tree. Who knows? And what's eating through the leaves here? Is that part of the fact that I'm finding those small, like miniature conkers in the grass there? Look, there's another one. Look. This is July. So what is that about? It's causing this tree to shed early. And another thing, what concerns me, and it did earlier on in the year, I think I mentioned it, those green caterpillars. Now, here at the southern side, I'm looking at the oak tree. It's outside my kitchen window. Obviously we sit out here. I thought, what on earth's the colour of that oak tree up there? And why are the leaves all curled like this? Look, they're curled up. Now there's plenty of water here. The well, if I show you, here is as high as I've ever seen it at this time of year. And we've been some time before we've had some rain to bring it up there. So that's groundwater that's there. So if you look at the colour of that tree, if I can take her right up to it, it's light, isn't it? It's light. Now if I just pan or look over this one over here, it's the traditional dark green. They're both oak trees, so why is this one and this one here curling in with the leaf, and it's got this sort of, there you can see it's like a film all over the leaf. There's nothing I can see eggs or anything underneath. What's causing this with the oak trees? It's like a sort of a mildew. So there's the green underneath, you can see the dark green. So what is that? I must wash my fingers now. So you can see the difference. A couple of things for you guys to talk about. Meanwhile, I've got to start work down the bottom here. This is the inside. This was taken from a cutting I've told you before. Look at it. That's in its full, resplendent in its glory there. Taken from a single cutting. Okay, down here at the bottom end is where the work's being done, guys. So, tell us in the comments page what you think is going on with my small mini conkers. And of course, the crinkly oak leaves as well. Meanwhile, we're back out again into the garden because I've got to finish some work on the medieval, the ancient, the straw-laden, clay-laden miniature survival one man. It's not off-grid, it's on-grid. Well, no, it's off-grid because there's no electric, isn't there? Oh, it's the whole whack. Roundhouse. I've got some bark here that's got to go down inside the miniature roundhouse. I've got to tidy up here, and I've got to put on the inside of the wall there some clay and finish it off so we're absolutely finished here. Okay, I've got the old camera light in here. I'll take you in and show you around. Let's see, my light's not that bright today, that's weird. I must have drained the batteries, check it. Yeah, it's down to 2. It's just enough to film, hopefully, people. Made all the crossbars up there. What we've got to do is we've got to saw this out here, which Mike said, I mean, I like it like this, I feel safe, but he said if we saw this out, it gives us a load more space. You could actually get a sort of bed chair in as well. There, you can see, if I show you, that's what we've been doing. And this is the last piece here to be finished. This is, you know, the wattle and daub, you do, it all goes like concrete, but you've got to put straw in with it, otherwise the clay just falls straight off. So I think I've got enough there, because over the back, over that way, I had to pull up an old carpet I had as a wee blind, and we had a load of clay, tons and tons of clay put along there when we had the house dug out with the foundations. They went down like, God, they were piling to 27 feet before they stopped the pile. And if anybody wants to know, the piling actually is paid for, I think, per foot. So 27 feet times all the piling I had to have down there was not cheap. Let's get this wet over there. I kept it damp. That's been like that 2 months. In the sack, if you do get clay, in that sack there, put some water in there, seal it up from the air, and you can use it straight away. So there you go, you've seen the inside of the roundhouse. It is so cool in here, it's ridiculous. If I had a temperature thermometer to be able to take it for you, you'd think, oh yeah, okay, Graham, but if you go in the shade, like over there, if you went in the shade over there, it's the same. No, it's not. That is way, way cooler inside there. Let's get a clay mix going. As a bit of an experiment, I'm going to mix a little bit up here and just see how sloppy it will go, because I'm not sure whether it would actually smear over that again. I don't particularly want to go digging loads of clay out in this hot weather, because this goes like that, it dries. I'm going to put some water with it, get it nice and wet, and then work it. Get it very, very sloppy, as it were. Bit like plastering. Just an experiment. My whole life is one big experiment, most of which has always gone wrong. Yeah, that is going soft. Okay, we've got our hawk and our float. We're just going to have a little see if that will smear. If I had enough of it, obviously, but it's just an experiment. And I'll leave this just to see if it does dry off or whether it actually falls off. I don't know. I don't come from the Neanderthal period that invented this method. I'm just curious. And of course, listen, that's how it must have worked years ago. When you think, whatever, in the Stone Age, they tested things. Will this work? Will that work? And that's why the human race is where it is at the moment. Yeah, I know what you're going to say, a mess. It's not exactly untrue either. So what I do is leave all this little patch area, test area, and see if it will actually dry through, or whether in fact this thin coat here, sort of plaster-like coat, will also crack. Well, I've got the main lump, less a worm. I could take that fishing this afternoon. Give him a little treat out, a little ride. Now I've got to get this a lot wetter. It's not concrete, it's not hard like clay does go, but I'm going to have to wet that down, so let me work away at this a bit. Try and get it soft enough. Going to have to use my hand, so I've got no idea. I've got to switch the camera off. So I'm now at the stage where you need a special implement to mix wattle and daub. It's called these. So I've got my dry straw, or damp straw as it is in this case. I shake it all up, loosen it, don't put it in great big gobs, and I've got to mix that together using the ultimate human talent. Yucky, yucky. Kids would love this, I should think. No way of switching the camera off now. Look at it, look at it. The clay will dry on its own, obviously, but these tiny fibres help hold it all together. The straw helps hold it all together. And these things have been found like hundreds and hundreds of years old. These walls. You can make a wall from it. Obviously that overlaps slightly, so the rain drips off of that on the outside of the clay. I don't know what happens in really, really wet conditions. I don't know. We've never had any trouble here with it. It's only been built in the last year. Another lockdown project. Now a bit more straw in there. I bought a sack of straw from where I buy my ground bait. I said, have you got any bits of straw? I don't really need a 2-ton bale. They said, yeah, you can take all the sweepings. People put it in their own pets. £2 to fill the whole sack up. Now I thought that was a bargain. £2 to do all the straw for the wattle and daub in this building. The hardest bit for me is digging the clay up in the first place. Our property's built on clay ground, so it expands, contracts, all that business. Not great fun, but it is what it is. We live where we live. A tad more water, I feel. So, you know, it's like a cookery programme, isn't it? A bit like a little cookery programme. And of course I can't wash my hands, or can I get them in? Oh, I can indeed get them in. So at least I can turn the camera off. I can tell you now, ladies, it's like a skin scarifier, this clay. If you get some in your hands and wash it, you will feel, why am I paying an extortionate amount for this stuff? Tubes of stuff. Where washing your hands in clay, the grit, does the same scarifying motion. Right. Now let's get in there, get it on the wall. I'm going to get a whack of it down here, get myself a stash. I'm hoping I've just got enough. That is all there is. Oh, what a job. And I hope to go fishing tomorrow, so it'd be nice to get all this done. This, by the way, is for Mike's daughter, for the granddaughter. When she's probably a few months older, she can come and play find the spider in here, and I'm sure she'll have no trouble finding them. All creatures, great and small, will be in here. I should put a trail cam out actually and see what comes around her at night. Now what we do is we bang it in like this to finish it, as it were. If you do have these go at these projects, make sure you get enough hazel strips, because otherwise you're just filling big voids with clay and it'll probably fall out. You can see I'm going to spread as much as I can in there first. My fingertips almost pushing it. It's not fishing, but it's fun. Right, and then when I get to a certain level, I've got, let's say, a good layer on any stones I push in there, because they all help bind together. Then get the ball of your hand, come sideways onto it and just tap it in, look, sort of smooth it off and spread it. You imagine how quickly they could build these back in the day with a load of men. You know, like 3 or 4 guys. They could each build each other a small survival shelter like this. Well, you live in it, never mind about survive. You have a fire outside. There we go. So you can see the principle, guys. I'm going to put the camera off, finish this, and go and wash. Hopefully you can see that there is now all smoothed off, matches up with the rest, and this is how it goes on. But it will crack, it's shrinkage, and that's exactly what happens, say, to the foundations or land around me, or anybody indeed that's on clay will get it. When it gets wet, it is called heave, it expands. When it gets damp, it contracts and you get these cracks. But it's still all absolutely solid as you want. Now I've got to cut this centre support pole out. I'm really, really sceptical. Mike tells me it works, so we'll trust the bushcrafter. Going to tidy the outside up with a strimmer. Oh, that's magic mushroom. Just tidy around here. Up around here where the fire is, just give that a trim back. You can see the shape, and then I'm going to put that bark inside there, and the rest of the bark can go up here in the fire area. Right, that's got all that trimmed up. Now the point of no return, people. I'm very dubious about this. Sawing structurally important thingies down. What do you think? I don't know. We'll try it. Michael says cut it if it comes down on my head. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Is Michael right? Is all his bushcraft knowledge worth anything? Will I ever get my saw back? Yes. Wow, look at that, guys. He's right. He's a rock solid. I'm amazed. Now, please don't let me have to saw this one off. I can dig this one out. No, but still I drive it in the ground and it rots out. Whew. Well, I can finally have a tidy up here. As you can see, there's loads of spindly stuff left over, and Mike had a load of bark he didn't want. I do not throw anything away, because that would be an ideal bit of flooring and a sort of weed blind in here. Oh, there's much more space, look, absolutely. We'll probably do an overnighter in at some stage. This will also all dry out, this bark, the chippings. Level the floor out. Let's get another one in there. Better stamp it down a bit. Hey, hey, oh, hey, 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 oh my, catch the fish, oh, hey, hey, hey. I just thought, what about the ramblers that are walking past the fence? That's the family's war chant, our tribal, the Pullen tribe. Everybody should have their own chant, their own tribe. I'm all for it. Well, it's so cool in here. Yeah, much better with this central stakeout. Look, I could get a bed chair in there very nearly. I could certainly we made it 6 feet across, so you could have your feet just out there, and you could actually sleep in here, and we will give it a go. It'll be the Roundhouse versus this one. The huge, with a veranda, pallet cabin built entirely out of free pallet wood. I'm going to get some artificial flowers to go across there, silk flowers. Trim this down, put the last of the bark around the fireplace. Let's just get rid of the last of the bark around a fire or seating area. Waste not, want not. Pretty hard work, guys. Anyway, it's done now. We're down by the tackle shack, which is where I dug a lot of the clay. We had tons and tons and tons of clay all down this strip, all the way down there, right to the bottom. Covered it with carpet, covered it with shingle, and then Mike decides, we've got no clay, Dad, so I've got to put this back, rake the shingle over, even more labour. But it was worth it, because now that Roundhouse is finally done, as I am. Oh, it's something I'm meaning to do for some time, is to get these were conkers that I planted. The first year they grew to about here, died off. I thought we were dead, and then they started shooting again. If you're looking at earlier films, you'll probably find them. They're going to get pot bound here, and they're not going to do any good. So I'm going to plant them out now. Ooh, I think they're good enough to go. Probably down the bottom. Silver Sultans, beautiful colour. I'm going to start taking seeds off of these now. They do self-seed here. As you can see in here, this is just wind blowing in here. I haven't planted these, that's all wind blowing. I'm figuring down this area. This was one that Mike planted, or that we planted from Mike's place in Somerset. He obviously bought it from a nursery at this big. Don't know what it'll take. These kiddies should be alright. I've soaked them. I'm just going to try and get them out with the minimum of disturbance. Let's see what I can do. tip them out like loose, and then I can work away on them. I've given that a good soak, as you can see. And these small plants, look, I'm just going to break those off and they can go elsewhere. Probably won't come to anything this year. Ironically, look, that looks like the conker that is growing out of. I'm putting all the weeds out as well. Don't need them. I've got 4, which is actually what I planted, and they're all intertwined. So I'm figuring in 50 years time, when I'm not here, somebody go, Graham planted those. I remember I watched it on his programme. There he is, look, there's the conker that it grew from. Who would have thought from that tiny conker shell you can get something like this, and possibly a huge tree. I'm going to go in here with it. I won't be here to clear the leaves up, that's for sure. Now, it might not like this soil, I don't know. So what I do, I know that's the depth of the hole there, but because I'm on clay, I'm just going to leave that a bit loose there. So it gives the roots like half a chance to get through the soil, through the hard soil. Bearing in mind, what's that? Peak summer. So it's going to be dry. I'm going to have to give them a good soak. My feeling is they'll probably die back, but I think this one especially is going to come next year. So, got a good root system to it. And what will happen in 30 years' time, along comes a developer and goes, right, first thing we do is get rid of all those trees. Some blokes planted some trees, we don't want them, we don't want to get rid of too much, do we? We'll put in a row of shrubs, 52 houses, and sell them all for £1,500 a square inch. Well, meanwhile, we can all go and live in the Bahamas or somewhere, or some tax haven. So these will all be almost certainly, not in my lifetime, in my grandchild's lifetime. They might grow up big, they might grow like these. I won't be here, but you bet your life some developer will pile in and build a block of flats here, saw them all down. I don't care, I won't be here to worry about it. And I feel as though, for me, I've done my bit, and it's just an experiment, guys, one of those experiments. Can I grow my own trees from a conker? I know what the answer to that is. Subject to insects and creatures, because I think the conker tree does actually have some moth thing or something that attacks it. There we go. These cost nothing. They cost me absolutely nothing. I just walk over to my other conker tree, picked up 4 conkers, planted them. I think it's 18 months ago now. Well, not some Save the Planet one, I think the planet's done. But, you know, you sort of get a bit of pleasure out of doing it, don't you know? I can see why people do it, I must admit. It's probably all going to be a bit pointless, but see, they're just starting to burn a bit. Who knows what they are that's doing that. But I feel even if they die back, they're tough. Well, that's quite a good one. Take the weeds out. I've done my bit. Done my bit to save the planet. Now they need a good watering in. They've got a little bit of shelter off here from the southwesterly. Let's get them watered in. Oh, what am I going to do with these? More planting. I'm going to put these bits of silver salt in here. Over at the tackle shack. They might not come up this year. Yeah. A flower. Well, they will come up. They're up. What I'm saying is, I don't think they'll flower till next year. Now, once the job is done, I've got to get the fishing rod sorted. We'll be filming these next year, people. how much did I pay for these for the nursery? The answer is nothing. And just when I thought I'd finally done enough jobs to warrant a fishing trip, I decided I'd just do one more lawn mowing job. It was a job too far. So there I was, just getting ready to go fishing. Unloaded all the car with the tackle that I'd been with Mike. I must rush out and do a lawn on one of the properties. I put the lawnmower in the car. A lorry comes round the corner too fast. I have to put my foot down. The lawnmower launches itself from the front of the car to the back, and I get actually full ventilation system, as you can see. Lovely jubbly, glass all cleaned up, absolutely everywhere. But it does have some form of advantage because I can now get my beach rods totally in there, right across the dashboard, all the way out here. They come to about there, I guess, something like that. I don't even have to break them down. I can go fishing. So all is not lost. All is not lost. And don't miss the next film up, where I go exploring England's equivalent of the Amazon jungle. I think I've reached, I would term, ouch, the end of the line. I'm going to turn around somehow and get back out. Good bit of exploratory fishing. You can tell the power this river's had. There's massive slabs of concrete here. They've been ripped up, I imagine, by floods and bent backwards. So perched looking. I mean, I can almost feel them drop shotting. Oh, I've got a good perch on, guys. Need to rush this. I think I've got him out. He's out. He's out. I can take a huge gamble.